So last things last. Now we're gonna get to TV. Now I am
Yeah.
going to talk about a show I thought you would have checked out.
No.
Shame on you, shame
Mm.
on you, shame on you. Orange is the New
Yeah.
Black by season 6.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me about it.
Yeah,
I had a fine time for this one.
I don't blame you, right? I really don't blame you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the 6th season of a show that I really find myself enjoying. I really do
Yeah.
love the storytelling, the characters. This is a multi-character story. And yeah,
Yeah.
this is one that I just enjoy with each and every season. Even right down to season 5 now, I know some people didn't really like so much. But
Right.
and the thing is, like, looking back at it again, I could see why. But I still think it is strong overall, even though there are some character moments that I didn't really like those two
Okay.
methods who's just running around, just doing a sort of dumb shit and looking for drugs and stuff. I hated that, right?
Right.
I really hated them. They would just got under my nerves. But speaking of them, what they do here, really briefly with the season, is that you don't see certain characters in the season at all.
Right.
Yeah. You may see one or two of your favorite characters, but they might just show up in an episode or two. But essentially, after what happened in the events of season 5, which I'll get into a bit,
Right.
yeah, so some characters have left and others have, moved on, quote unquote, right? So, basically, what happened in the last season, just a quick recap, is that there was a riot at Litchfield Penitentiary. This is right
Right.
after the really tragic event of the finale of season
See.
4, where Pusey
Yeah.
Washington died. Um, and well, basically, season 5 started off where it's like Diana, or Diaz as she called herself,
Oh,
having,
yes.
yeah, Diaz, right? Yeah, having this
Yeah.
this guy at gunpoint, basically. Sorry, this guard at gunpoint. Eventually, he gets shot, and later on in the season, he dies. And then, well, the other guards who are basically held a prisoner by the inmates learn about this, and then that just adds just more fuel to the fire. And then later on in season 5, Piscatella, who was like the main bad guy, evil guard from season 4, ended up
Right.
sneaking back in, and it was just through this thing that Red was trying to do, basically, where she wanted to prove that he did murder an inmate at this this male prison
Right.
like years ago now.
Yeah.
So she just wanted him
Yeah.
in, so kind of subdue him and have him sign this form that basically stated that he did that, right? Because they just want to get rid of
Right.
him, right? But what happened is that near the end, when where basically the police, basically, these guards got inside the penitentiary to take down all the prisoners. One guy ended up shooting Piscatella in the face with this pepper bullet, basically, and just
Right.
that shot to the head made him fall, and he dies now. So the guys now, well, we see this in the we see this in the premiere of season 6 here. Basically, they try to cover up the crime now by shooting the guy, shoot him cold, like point blank in the face, basically, right? Just to hide the fact that they did really kill him, right? By accident, of
Right.
course, right? And they pin it on the prisoners themselves. It's just like, well, yeah, there was a gun that was running about, and there was a gun that
Right.
was being handed about and stuff. So it was the prisoners that did it, right? And this is where our story begins, right? So basically, they moved from the penitentiary, and essentially now they're in maximum security. So essentially, the whole season is set there, right? The conditions have changed radically. The guards themselves are a lot more brutal, a lot more vicious
Right.
to the inmates themselves, because they harboring that rage of, oh, well, this is how those particular guards were treated at the penitentiary, being humiliated and mistreated and whatnot. And then, of course, with Piscatel again shut, and nobody knows that, oh, well, it was these guys who did it, basically, right? So yeah, they're just looking for any and every excuse to lash out at these inmates. One in particular is McGill Tasty.
Right.
Once again, she delivers a strong performance. She's a lot more depressed here, just like in the last season. In the last season, she was just really depressed about her friend being killed, and the events of season
Yeah.
5 literally was just like a day or two after her death, right? So
Yeah.
just cut to some while now, and she's still shooken up by what happened now. And then even worse, they want to try her for the murder of Piscatella, which she didn't even know about until later on. But then they also want to try her for basically inciting the riot, being one of
Right.
the main instigators in the riot, right? So all that is going on, and well, she ends up going to trial because of that as well. Also, because of that, some characters end up having to snitch on others. So some characters
Right.
end up moving away, and other people end up in maximum security. For that reason. So they kind of get off there, basically like that. So one of them is Red as well. She basically kind of well, she was sold out by a particular character, and
Right.
because she was the matriarch in the group, she always kind of saw herself as being this den mother. She feels betrayed
Yeah.
now, and she kind of harbors this feeling of betrayal throughout this season here. It's even worse now when she realizes that Frida, she was the resourceful, elderly inmate, the one who basically built this kind of like bomb shelter, if you will, in this old
Right.
abandoned part of the prison. There was this swimming pool there, this empty swimming pool, and she was just basically hiding out there until the end of the season when the cops basically broke inside and arrested them, right? So, and also this is where outside, this is where Piscatella got shot. So because of what happened, so Red being snitched out by Frida, so there is this kind of hate relationship going on here. Also, another character who got sold out basically was Gloria Mendoza, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
right. So her friend Maria Ruiz ended up basically snitching her out too now. So as well, the ironic part is that they both end up in Maxner as well, but it's just that, oh well, one person may end up serving a longer sentence than the other. So as soon as they meet each other, they just basically kind of want to rip each other's hair out and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just basically just harboring feelings of rage and all that kind of stuff. Piper, because you don't want to forget about Piper. I know because, like, I think it's from since season 3 or there about the story
Yeah,
stopped
right.
being about Piper.
Yeah, sure. It getting harder and harder to justify this character being wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, it just stopped being about Piper. It just started to be about everybody else. And then her character just started to get on more and more people's nerves. But really,
Yeah.
after season 4, when, when Maria herself ended up branding her with that swastika, logo, that's when things really changed for her. And that's when Piper really started to change, kind of. You know what I mean? She's still the kind of, neurotic kind of character, but she
Yeah.
isn't that annoying to everybody else, I should say. But yeah, so following what happened in season 5 where she proposed to Alex, so it starts off with Piper being in Max and wondering where Alex is. And this is great little dream sequence, basically, I will call it, where Piper is imagining herself in this game show. Well, ironically, it's Jeopardy and Alex Trebek is there. So she keeps
Okay.
answering, "Where's Alex? Where's Alex?" And he
Right.
says, "I'm here, bitch." Right,
Right.
great moment, right? I love that. So she's looking for Alex. Alex does eventually show up, and it's just basically about them trying to maintain their relationship. But what kind of puts a stop to it is basically that Piper maybe let out early, right? Earlier than
Right.
than Alex, right? And it's just
Right.
how that kind of affects their relationship. Right, so we are introduced to a few new characters. One of them being Madison Murphy, or Madison as she calls herself. I'm assuming that she is from Boston, but they never really say where she's from. But she has that kind of Boston accent, that
Yeah.
you want to do that kind of way now. And she is like the prankster basically in amongst these new characters basically, or at least she deems herself as this prankster, right? She likes to do all these pranks on people. She does a lot to Piper, and she does that basically, basically it's kind of established that she hates Piper because of what she stands for, how she moves and all that kind of stuff. But she kind of muscles in between her and Alex, because they know that they're in a relationship together, but basically just trying to kind of swindle them and try to mess them up basically, right? Because she just don't like Piper head at all, right?
Yeah.
But she is basically, well, all right. So two other characters that you're introduced to is two sisters actually. So it's Barbara and Carol, right? Denning, right? So they are just like Frida. They are elderly prisoners basically, right? But they've been in Max for like 30 years, right? And the reason for them
Right.
being there involves them trying to murder their own sister. And I know the younger
Right.
sister. That this is back in the 80s. This is the one of the flashbacks that we get, and I would say it is one of the most disturbing scenes of this whole season, hands down. Well,
Right.
not disturbing, but just dark, boy, like incredibly
Right.
dark though. And it's just basically them in the prison. But we learn later on that while at the prison, they met Frida there. Well, a young Frida there, And then eventually, well, Frida ended up snitching to the authorities about something that they were involved in, and that's how she ended up in the pen in the first place, right? Um, and because of that, well, now that they realize that Frida is back in Max now, they now hatching this plan to go against her now, basically. So this is like the big kind of conflict in this season here. But also, even more importantly, there is a kind of a gang war thing going on here. Because for one thing, Barbara and Carol both belong in different blocks, right? So one is part of C block, next one is part of D block now. And some of our
Yeah.
favorite characters end up in, yeah, I know, right? D block, right? I was thinking D block. There's even a part thread where they were saying D block, and I was like, but this is like
Yeah.
the D block
Yeah.
anthem song, you know, the Everywhere We Go. I was thinking that song there. Right?
Yeah, I was thinking. Some say, I mean, they can have a little slick looch on the soundtrack.
I know, right? Like they
Yeah.
even they snuck in. The only rap song they snuck in was Lil Wayne's Amelie, and this is for a flashback scene involving Tasty and a friend of hers who ironically just so happens to be a guard at Max. So it's like her friend basically trying to be professional about it, but it's like, well, no, we can't be friends because look at what you guys did to these guards over there and how you killed Piscatella. So they were like, she real acting like, nah, I can't be your friend, you know what I mean, like that. But you could tell deep down inside she still has, feelings for her. She still wants to be friends with it, just like, the situation as it is, she can't really do anything about it, right? So essentially with the whole D block C block thing, some of our favorite characters who managed to stick around in this season here end up getting split up basically. So Crazy Eyes, Flakka, Black Cindy, Pentatucky and them end up getting split up now. There's even a subplot involving Pentatucky end up escaping because if you remember from the last few seasons, she had this on again, off again, affair with this guard basically. It was even to the point that the guard kind of raped her, but then she kind of looked at it like, no, it wasn't rape, you know what I mean? He didn't mean it, right? So he ended up helping her out. Well, we learned this, that he ended up helping her out escape after the whole shenanigans of the season finale of season 5, right? So she's in hiding basically, but then it just kind of turns out that she just can't really adjust to this life outside. The subplot with with Crazy Eyes basically is that because her friends go on now and because Black Cindy basically tell her to more or less not to reveal the fact that that the cops did, try to keep a secret the fact that the cops did kill Piscatella. She kind of feels kind of like, her friends aren't her real friends. How she kind of how she processes things now, you know what I mean? So yeah, she kind of feels like she has to toughen up. She does kind of toughen up later on, but really the whole emotional crux is just that she feels like, like her friends have turned their back on her. Flakka, on the other hand, right, her friend Maritza, she basically got sent to someplace else, so she doesn't even show up in the season here, right? So she has this relationship here, starts off this relationship here with Black Cindy because they have this little talk radio show that's going on. This little activity that they do now, right? But Black Cindy basically is feeling feelings of guilt because she kind of had to testify against Tasty, right? I know the bond that they have, right? But because of that, she kind of feels separated because of that, right? And that's basically, I'll just stop there because there's just so much to it. But basically, the main theme, if I could just sum it up, is basically just how these alliances the alliances that have been established and are established in season 6, how easy these alliances could be split now, basically, right? So for one thing, just these our favorite characters being split down the middle, right? So whether they're in C block or D block or they're not even in the show at all, or just the way how characters kind of react to each other because one snitch on the other, or one person side with this block and all that kind of stuff. Really, that's the theme of it, right? So I mean, for one thing, Gloria and Maria, they were best friends where they were in the cafeteria working together and stuff like that, and now they can't even watch each other straight in the face and all that kind of stuff, right? There is a great emotional arc going on with Gloria as well. Like for one thing, basically with Gloria and Maria from last season, just that both of them wanted to escape because they wanted to see their children, right?
Right.
Maria ended up taking the opportunity to free the basically it was Gloria's idea to free to free the guards, but that didn't work out because Maria got the upper hand and basically let them off now. But the plan still failed, and she ended up going back to Max. Well, she ended up going to Max basically, right? So that's the feelings that they both share. Another character who gets a really strong arc here is Zirconia. She's played by Danielle de Jesus, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She was one of the Latina girls who came in season 4, one of the new ones, and the one with the kind of rough looking face, right?
Yeah.
And she had this subplot involving some gardener. Well, she used to be helping on this old lady, and then there was this gardener guy who used to be taking care of the old lady, and then eventually they just end up fucking and all that kind of stuff. So basically they are like boyfriend, girlfriend, that kind of stuff though, right? So essentially she wants to have a baby by him, right? It's just the drama that she goes through to try to get that happen. She ends up getting Nikki, who returns again to help her out. I'm not gonna say what happens there. So yeah, as you could tell from what I've been describing here, this is not as dark as it's actually darker than the fifth season. The fifth season was a little bit lighter, given how dark and disturbing season 4 was, right? But this one, I could say, is one of the most grim and most depressing seasons of this show thus far, boy. Seeing how these characters, trying desperately to adjust to this life in Max, the hardships, what they're going through. I really felt it for Miguel Tasty, boy. That's the stuff that she went through. The guards taking it out on her brutally, actually, because of her involvement in the riot of season 5. Even though she was not involved at all with imprisoning the guards. She was in Joe Caputo's office, basically trying to work things out. Now that's where she was, right? Even right up to the moment where the guards and the police end up breaking inside. Now, she was just there all the time, right? And yet still she's being accused of attacking the guards and all that kind of stuff. And it's just really rough on her now. But I thought that Danielle Brooks once again delivers a really, really strong, very emotional performance here, just like in season 5 though. Even though she wasn't the standout for me here, but her performance here is still strong. There's also another subplot I forgot to mention too, and this kind of really shows just how bad these prisoners are being looked down on. There's this fantasy sport game that's going on though called Fantasy Inmate, right? So the guys that are there, one of them is Lushek. He returns again, right? Because I guess they can't have Orange is the New Black without Lushek, right? So basically it's where they kind of, just like fantasy football, right? So in this case, they make bets on certain prisoners. Not really.
Right.
They just make bets, and it's like, if this person shanks this other person, that's
right,
X amount of points.
Yeah.
If this person vomits, or if this person caught holding hands or kissing, that's X amount of points now.
Right.
But it's like, really when you think about this, and with the whole subplot involving the C block and D block war, once they find out what's going on, they start to make even more bets. So it's just like, I know, when they do this thing here, basically it just kind of ends at this kickball game, right? It's an allusion to something that happened way back in the 80s, which ended on this very violent note now, right? But I just figured because it's this game between C block and D block, it eventually will end with somebody being killed now, right? So they make the bets during that now, and then one of the inmates, I'm not gonna say who, finds out about it, and it just kind of makes aware of, it's just like they really don't care about these prisoners at all there, you know what I mean? They're doing what they had to do, but it's just like in the end of the day, it's just like what they're just making a game out of just people being mistreated and abused and killed and whatnot, and just really sad now. But as usual, everybody the other actors are great as well. Taylor Schilling, as Piper Chapman, Natasha Leon, Uzo Aduba once again kills it as Crazy Eyes. At first I was kind of thinking that they didn't really have much for her to do, but they give her a nice old character arc in this one. Not as big as all that, but she does have some really great moments here. And as grim and as depressing as the season was, yes, it has your typical humor, what you expect from it. It's always about the characters, always about how they interact with each other, the shenanigans they get themselves into, the way how they talk, especially with Lorna Morello, played by Yael Stone, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Yeah, once again, just continuing from what happened in the last season where she finds out that she's pregnant. It's just her being part of one of the blocks basically, and she feels like she has to be part of a family now. So so for her being Italian American, she feels like she has to be in this Godfather kind of scenario now. So she must feel like she's part of this family now. The way how her arc ends is kind of sad, kind of tragic, but it does leave the floor open for another season. Just the possibility of what will happen next, right? I'll talk about that whole possibility in a bit. But yeah, the performances are strong once again. I thought that Dasha Polanco played Daya. I thought that she was great as well. They do give her a subplot as well where she meets this I forget which block that she's from, but it's the block that they both reside in, right? And her backstory basically is that she is a lesbian and that she's a pimp as well. So she had like these, she had her who's basically, right? But it ends with one of them being ODing on drugs basically, right? And it alludes to what's going on with Daya, because it starts off with her just going through a lot of pains, just a lot of bodily pains and stuff. And also it has to do with her being involved primarily in the riot, right? So she is also being beat up by the guards, and she deals with it by taking pills and whatnot to ease it down. But then later on, she ends up taking heroin, because there's this little heroin smuggling thing that her new friend gets her involved in. I'm not gonna say how that ends there, right? Speaking of character arcs, once again, just like with the last season, it does tend to run into the flaws of, okay, there's a lot of characters here, there's a lot of arcs going on. Sometimes some of them don't really quite end, so you have to wait till the next season to see where they go. Sometimes they're not really given that much fleshing out to begin with. Sometimes it's kind of come and go, just like with Pensatucky's arc. I thought that just kind of came and went. It just basically lasted one or two episodes basically, and then just kind of back to normal. But there are others that I thought were incredibly strong, and just the way how some of them end, really, really did stick out to me. Even Piper's story arc I thought was great as well, especially the way how that ends. And once again, even the possibility of a new season. But the way how her arc ends, it pretty much could be the end of the series. But but because this show is bigger than Piper, you do want to see what happens to other characters. You kind of need to. They need to have a new season. You know what I mean? They need to have
but that's kind of trade off for the show, because on the one end the show is so about her, but at the same time you have so many, all the other characters kind of end up being more interesting than her, but you're wondering if you could do the show without her still. To be, as I said, I think it's just getting harder and harder to justify why she is involved here. Should it just be about in general, all these characters, and they don't know where the locus. I'm not sure if they know where the locus should be, and Piper is the easiest locus to focus on, or that's the anchor point.
Of course, because that's where the show started from. It started with her. Us seeing life through her eyes, but then it just stopped being about her and being about everybody else. And it just, in her case, it's just about Piper and Alex and Piper, Piper and Alex and Piper. That's it, really. Although there were a couple of moments, like I said before, with this new girl, Madison, taking advantage of her and her really trying to understand why she's doing that, But I'll leave it at that. But the whole possibility of a new season, I think really does hold up here, because, like, for one thing, remember Alida Diaz, right, which is Daya's mom. Remember, she left, I think it's at the end of season 4, and continuing the events of season 5. She's still trying to get a job. She's still trying to get her apartment. She's trying to get her 4 kids back with her, because right now they have this foster home and the conditions are kind of rough there. But she does end up in a relationship with one of the guards, ironically, at Max, right? And he ends up getting involved in the whole heroin smuggling stuff. But it's when she learns that her daughter is hooked on that, that's where it kind of reaches at this, this
crossy line.
Yeah, kind of crossy line there. And that's all I would say there. But once again, because it has so much characters here, and yes, these characters are well fleshed out, some more than others. I felt that sometimes I wish that certain character arcs could at least end at a certain point. At least give me closure, because I'm the type of person who loves closure, right? I love where it's like, all right, this is where it ends at the moment. Okay, fine. Instead, it's just like, okay, well, it's just by the by. This is where these characters are here now. I guess you have to wait till the next season to see what happens next. I really felt that with Red's character, right? Because I really was
Yeah.
feeling her arc where it felt like everybody, where to her it felt like everybody else was just betraying her, everybody else just turning back on her. You know what I mean? And I just love how her character really changed as well. There's even something physical that happens. I won't spoil what it is. That really shows her change as well, her development. But it just kind of stops at this particular point. It's like, all right, well, kind of wish I got more, given how strongly it started. But whatever, right? So it's always that issue. It's always been an issue with this series here, where, like I said, too much characters, a lot of story arcs, but just
Right.
where do we stop? Which ones do we put to end, and which ones do we actually have to continue? Even Joe
Right.
Caputo himself has a story arc as well, because he is no longer working at Litchfield anymore, and it's just basically him trying to kind of get by with life. But because of Tasty's conviction, to exposing the hardships what the prisoners go through, which was in season 5. Now he feels like this is like his mission statement. Now he has to help her out as
Right.
well. But because he is the type of character that tries too little and doesn't really get anything out of it, and then people make him out for it, now he has to try a lot harder now, and then it's still not enough. You know what I mean? So I thought
Yeah.
that his character arc was pretty convincing as well. But unfortunately, this kind of stops at a particular point. Well, I like where it stops at basically, but I kind of wish that there was a little bit more. And last character arc I'll mention too is TC's character arc as well. I thought that
Yeah.
was one of the strongest in this season here, and I thought that the villains themselves, the Denning sisters, they were great. They were menacing as well. It's almost, well, but then when you realize exactly why they having this war, this beef in the first place, it's really petty as well. But then again, that attributes to what this season was about, where it's basically, yeah, you could be friends with this person one day, and then over some shippiness that either you instigate or that person instigate, or the guards or the government or whoever it is, y'all wouldn't be friends anymore. It's just how easy friendships get killed in jail, right? So I kind of bought into the fact that, yeah, these sisters eventually kind of split. They're not friends anymore. They part of different
Right.
blocks, and now it's like, well, I had a war with this block because I just do like my sister. It's something really blatant like that, really self-centered, but it makes sense given how rough the conditions are there. You know what I mean? Anyway, how it ends though, like I said, it's lot of gut punches. There are three particular moments where character arcs end, and it's just a simple way how they ended too. Like in one scene, it's just a simple use of sound design. Next scene is just using a flashback, just to justify something that was told in an early episode, and another one was just, oh well, you're thinking, oh, this is what's gonna happen to this character. No, this is now that we kind of fake it out basically. It's just these
Right.
simple little narrative techniques that they use, but it is so goddamn effective, boy. So incredibly powerful. Um, but as far as other flaws go, like I say, apart from the character arcs, nuts, ending. Well, sorry, the major ones not really ending off the way how you would expect them to. Once again, the pacing of it. Once again, 13 episodes, they're long. There are a few episodes that clock in at exactly an hour. The final episode is
Right.
roughly an hour and 24 minutes. It's a slow burn, right? It's long, and it's I know, like, I have to kind of accept this is what Orange is the New Black is about. These episodes are long, but there are some points where I kind of tune out of it. It's just like, yeah, kind of pick it up, just kind of move the piece a little bit, kind of make it a little bit
Yep.
shorter, right? But once again, this is just a treat of this show. But I mean, for what it's worth, what I would say there, just to close things off, is that yes, this is a considerable step up from season 5.
Okay.
It's a lot darker. It's way more depressing than season 5, but it's not unwatchable. The characters are still strong. They are likable. You will like a majority of these characters. A few of them will get under your skin, but you kind of like them because they have their weird little characteristics about them, whether it's the way how they talk, the way how they move, or just the stuff they do, the traits that they have basically, right? So you do end up liking the majority of these characters as well, and you do kind of root for them. You do like them. You do like the fact how they're dealing with things being so rough there, because really it is a far departure from just how life was at Litchfield Penitentiary. It's just really a radical change though. And I like how certain character arcs have continued and developed on in this one. I really like that.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, I would still, while it's not a perfect season, I would say it's the best season out there. But I do like how it kind of leaves the opportunity that yes, they will have another season. But I haven't heard anything in the grapevine whether they will have one. But the way how certain character acts, and you kind of have to. But what I would say though, before I get to rate it, is that it kind of reaches a point where they could wrap the series up maybe in the next season, but I'm hoping that they do. If not, maybe give it up to season 8, and they could just end it off there. You know what I mean? They could just kind of wrap things up at that particular point, because I don't know how much more of seeing our favorite characters just suffer. I don't know how much more we could take though, even though they do have this kind of feeling.
Honestly, I make the joke is the Star Trek precedent, so it's gonna be 7 seasons because McGill Janeway in it. So, right. So, I don't know. I get the feeling it might be 7 because I show that again it's getting harder and harder to justify how it could go down so long, and this has gone long past shows like Oz, which was like the last big prison show.
Yes.
Well, it had a female prison show on HBO that was a kind of proto to this. I forget the name of it, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing. So yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like the show is running out of steam or anything like that. I just think that because of where the story has stopped off here,
exactly.
You could just probably do 1 or 2 more seasons and just call it quits right there. But once again, the writing is still strong, the acting is still superb, musical choices are great. Once again, the Lil Wayne and Billy caught me off guard. I don't know why they couldn't have Mighty D Block. That would have been a great song to have. That could have ended off an episode perfectly. Just have Chic Luke's like real vicious ass rhyme. Just edit off.
Yeah.
And he has probably the most cold. He has the coldest verse in that whole song, and the coldest.
Exactly.
Right? Jeez, man, but I mean, given the fact that we talk about D Block a lot, right? But this is another strong season once again. It's really amazing how I've happened to really enjoy this series so much, though, even though it's not perfect, because once again, like I say, with the length of these episodes, and then also with character arcs not really coming to a full closure, you know what I mean? But still, strong season. So I give this a light 4 to 5 man. This is definitely worth checking out. If you are a fan of the series thus far, you will enjoy it. I imagine you will enjoy it way more than season 5. Even though I enjoy the approach to season 5, being this whole 3D riot thing basically, right? But this one is just spans out over weeks and months basically, and just how these characters have grown to it. But once again, like I said, it's dark. It's brutal at times, but it is rather depressing. Just seeing how these alliances, these friendships, seeing how they have been broken. You know what I mean? Through no fault of theirs, or sometimes through faults of them. You know what I mean? But still, just seeing how they adjust to life there, just what they will do to survive, and just be optimistic is very inspirational as well. So if you've enjoyed if you've enjoyed the series thus far, you will thoroughly enjoy season 6. If you haven't, then I don't see any reason why you should check this out too. You might just watch this and find it just too depressing, and it might turn you off entirely. But I do suggest, like, if you haven't seen any episode at all, really go back to the beginning, see how the story has developed over time. Don't think that the show starts off as depressing and it just continues on like this one note pony, this one trick pony basically. It has developed emotionally and just structurally as well. And I like where the story is going, but it kind of needs to wrap up. Given where the season has stopped, it kind of needs to wrap. I don't see the season going to. Sorry, I don't see the series going to like a season 10 or anything like that. Like, don't let this be like a Walking Dead or something like that. Don't let it be like that, please. You know what I mean? Do one more season, or maybe like stop at season 8 and just end it off on a strong note, and I'll be happy.